Hello everybody, my name is Ivy and welcome to the Reality Game Show. How this game show works is there are 3 categories: Lord of the Flies, Identities, and the Lottery. The contestants are going to predict the reality of each scenario. Each contestant chooses a category that corresponds to how many points they can receive. Whoever gets the most points by the end of the game wins $1,000. But first, let's introduce the contestants.
Hello everyone, my name is Bertha. I am 17 years old and I like porridge and my uncle is my best friend. I joined this game to win the money and I love the stories.
Hey, my name is Angelica. I'm 18 years old and I love Instagram. And my dog Mimi. I joined this game because my mom forced me to do this and to get the money even though we are crazy rich. And I want to win.
Hello, my name is Dennis. I am 18 years old. I love reading because reading is life. I also have no friends. I joined this game because I love these stories and I want to show off how smart I am.
Alright, now that you've met all the contestants, let's get started. Bertha, please choose the category and points you would like.
Okay, I choose Lord of the Flies and 200 points.
Alright, here's your first scenario. The boys assume that having one leader will help them survive on the island and that one person will lead all the boys to getting off the island. Yes, Dennis.
Can I have a quotation, please?
Yes, you may. The quotation is, "I'm going off by myself. He can catch his own pigs. Anyone who wants to hunt when I do can come too," said by Jack. Yes, Angelica. In reality, all the boys have to work together and be a team to get off the island rather than going against each other and having separate tribes. That is correct, Angelica. You get 200 points. Now, Angelica, choose the next category.
Okay, I choose Identities for 100 points.
Fantastic choice. Here's the second scenario. In Identities, the man is lost and is trying to find out who he really is. What is the reality? Yes, Bertha.
In reality, the man needs to take as much time as he wants to find out who he really is to make himself satisfied.
That is correct, Bertha. You get 100 points. Now, Bertha, choose the next category.
Alright, I choose the Lottery for 300 points.
Okay, here it is. Mr. Summers wants to get rid of the black box because he heard that the other towns don't have that tradition anymore. But Old Man Warner wants to keep the tradition. What is the reality? Yes, Angelica?
May I have a quotation, please?
Of course. Here it is. Used to be saying about lottery in June, corn be heavy soon. First thing you know, we'd be eating stewed chicken and acorns. There's always been a lottery, said by Old Man Warner. Yes, Dennis.
In reality, everyone has to move on from the old stuff to the new stuff. But Old Man Warner has done the lottery for 77 years and he doesn't want to change the tradition because he's so used to it.
That is correct, Dennis. Okay, please choose the next category.
Sure, I choose the lottery for 100 points.
Great choice. Here it is. The townspeople have an annual lottery to let the town have good crops for the harvesting season. What is the reality? Yes, Bertha.
May I have a quotation, please?
Yes, you may. Here it is. The people of the village began to gather in the square between the post office and the bank around 10 o'clock. But in this village, where there were only about 300 people, the whole lottery took less than 3 hours. Yes, Dennis.
In reality, someone out of all the families gets stoned by everyone in the village. By stoning someone, it gives the town good luck and success with the crops all season long.
Very good answer, Dennis. You get 100 points. Dennis, you can either choose another category or let another contestant choose the category.
I'm gonna pass it to Angelica because she's really pretty.
OMG, thank you, Dennis.
Wow, I see some chemistry going on. You two can talk later, but let's focus on the game show, shall we? Angelica, choose the next category and points. Sure, I choose Identities for 200 points. Okay, great choice. Here it is. The man sees a group of 3 young men and a girl. He wants to join them and see what the group is like so he can find his identity. Yes, Bertha.
May I have a quotation, please?
Yes, you can. The quotation is, in spite of his car, he hopes his day-old beer, which he strokes upward with the heel of his hand, will, when combined with his clothes, provide immunity. Bertha.
In reality, he's still trying to find himself and he doesn't know what he's getting himself into, but he wants to experiment with things so he can find out who he really is.
Correct, Bertha. Okay, please choose the next category and how many points.
Okay, I choose Lord of the Flies and 300 points.
Great choice. Here's the scenario. The beast is an actual beast on the island and the boys think the beast is going to attack them. Wow, that was a fast response. Angelica was first. Sorry, Bertha.
That's okay. No one cares about me anyways.
Yeah, we get it, Bertha. Let me answer the question. Okay, Angelica?
In reality, the beast symbolizes the fear of the inner self of all the boys.
For example, when Simon was talking to the Lord of the Flies, he was really talking to himself. Correct, Angela. Please choose the next category. All right, I choose the lottery for 200 points. Well, look at that. It's the last one for that category. Okay, here's your scenario. The black box is so old and all the paint is about to fall off, but because of tradition, no one wants to change it. Dennis?
May I have a quotation, please?
Yes, you may. Here's your quotation. The black box grew shabbier and shabbier each year. By now, it was no longer completely black, but splintered along one side to show the original wood color, and in some places faded or stained. Bertha, an answer, please?
In reality, all the people assume that if the black box was changed, the tradition will be broken and they won't have any good crops for the season.
Correct, Bertha. Please choose the next category.
All right, I choose Lord of the Flies for 100 points.
Great choice. Here's the scenario. The boys think that surviving on the island is going to be super exciting because there are no adults on the island. All right, Dennis, give me an answer.
In reality, the boys have to try and survive on their own so they don't die on the island.
That is correct, Dennis. Now that everything is completed, the last category is identities for 300 points. Here's the scenario. When the new officer sees the man, he is scared of the man because of the way he is appeared as. Wow! All three of you pressed your buzzers at the same time, but sadly that was pressed first by Angelica. Angelica, an answer please. Haha, sucks on you guys. In reality, the officer has no idea that the man was just trying to find his identity, even though when the officer shot the man realized that he had an identity all along. That's the correct answer, Angelica. Let's look at the scores. Dennis and Bertha are tied with 500 points, and Angelica with a score of 800 points. Let's give all the contestants a round of applause. Now, Angelica, here's your final question before you win $1,000. What is the reality of this poem? You're not scared of the dark, you're just scared of what's in it. You're not afraid of heights, you're afraid of falling. You're not afraid of the people around you, you're just afraid of rejection. You're not afraid to love, you're just afraid of not being loved back. You're not afraid to let go, you're just afraid to accept the reality that it's gone. You're not afraid to try again, you're just afraid of getting hurt for the same reason. Easy! The reality of this poem is that no one really believes in reality until you actually live in the moment. The poem discusses the reality and your fears, and a lot of people don't realize that their fears are just what they imagine to be rather than what it actually is. Yes, that is the correct answer. Congratulations, Angelica, you win $1,000. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you next week on The Reality Game Show.